Tennessee Titans fans, we missed it last week, but we are back this week. It is that time of the week where we look at the Tennessee Titans Reddit page to see what the fans are talking about as we inch closer to free agency next week and the draft, which is a little over a month and a half away. Exciting times for the Tennessee Titans who have the number one pick. Let's see what the fans are saying. Don't forget, Two Tone Talk has a Reddit page. There's a link to it in the video description below. Go join that community. Leave some questions, comments, memes, whatever, and we will for sure get to those here on this segment on the channel. We only have one post from the Two Tone Talk page. The rest will be from the Tennessee Titans page, so somebody get to posting over there. The one from the Two Tone Talk page says, and this is from user then department 4082, would love to see you cover this in a video. Well, here we are. Ideal mock draft, in my opinion. We get our franchise QB, a great talent on the edge, some potential hidden gems, and some depth pieces at key positions of need. So this user is taking Cam Ward with the number one pick, trading back in the second round to get Jack Sawyer, the edge rusher from Ohio State. Then you get your wide receiver, Jalen Royals from Utah State, Ozzie Trapolo, offensive tackle from Boston College, Dylan Sampson, running back from Tennessee. A lot of good running backs in this draft. Demetrius Knight Jr., linebacker from South Carolina. Jordan Phillips, defensive tackle from Maryland. Dante Thornton, wide receiver from Tennessee. Willie Lampkin, Nazir Stackhouse in the late round picks. I mean, with the mock drafts, it's always tough because, you know, there's just going to be players later in the draft that you're just not sure much about them. But I will say this. I am not as high on Jack Sawyer as I was a couple of weeks ago. I feel like his draft stock went down at the combine. A lot of people not as on board with Jack Sawyer as they once were. I will say this. I think the Titans, especially if they don't draft Abdul Carter in the first round, I think it is very likely they go edge rusher in the second round. They have raved about the depth at edge rush in this draft. I definitely think a trade back in the second round is likely. I know a lot of people have talked about trading back in the first round. They can do that too. But a trade back in the second round to hopefully try to get a third rounder, that's something that I think they could do. And I don't hate this. You are addressing things like linebacker, defensive tackle, two wide receivers, get your guard late. I mean, it's just those late round picks are always a shot in the dark, but not a bad mock draft. Now we're going over to the Tennessee Titans Reddit page, and this was an interesting one. This one says, diehard Miami Hurricanes fan here, and I just want to let you guys know about the Cam Ward experience. No, he is not perfect. Yes, he will make a play once in a blue moon that leaves you saying, what the were you thinking? But when it's third and long, you will always feel confident he's going to pick it up. When you're down 2 scores or more in the second half, you will always feel like he's going to find a way to win. And at least once or twice a game, you will see him do something that makes you say out loud, holy poop. People can talk about a weak quarterback class all they want. When it comes to this dude, he's the truth. And that is a diehard Miami Hurricanes fan who watched Cam Ward week after week. Now, it does scare me a little bit when I see things like, he'll make a play every now and then that makes you go, what in the world are you doing? Because that reminds me of Will Levis. There were plays with Will Levis, but those were most of the time. He did it every week. He's saying Cam Ward does it once in a blue moon. The difference, like you see a guy like Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, they make a lot of plays that normally with most quarterbacks you would look at and say, what the blank are you doing? But they make it work. Some guys make it work, some guys don't. Guys like Will Levis can't make it work. Cam Ward, maybe he can make it work. Maybe he can be smart with the ball. But definitely judging by this user's Reddit post, diehard Miami Hurricanes fan, the good definitely outweighs the bad. I think that's something to listen to as somebody who watched Cam Ward week after week in college. Let's go to the next one. Who do y'all want to be the starting quarterback in week 1? Who should we draft? Who should we sign in free agency? Do we go for a sneaky late pick for a quarterback? I'm personally on the draft Cam Ward train right now, but I'm interested to see who everybody wants to be under center when the season rolls around. Well, I can't speak for the entire fan base. As you've probably gathered, they're all over the place. The one thing I will say I don't want to do, it's easier for me to tell you the things I don't want to do. I don't want to take a quarterback late in the draft and hope that we can mold him into something. We've tried it twice. With Malik Willis, it didn't work. with Will Levis. It didn't work. I know those weren't late round picks. I mean, Malik was a third rounder. Will was trading up into the second round. But the point is, those were guys who were not viewed as much of a sure thing, and we just hoped that we could mold them into something. I'm sick of trying that. I don't want to try it with Jalen Milroe or Carson Beck or Quinn Ewers or any of those guys. So I definitely don't want to take a quarterback that's not Cam Ward or maybe Shedeur Sanders. Second thing I will say, and I've been clear about, I do not want to sign Sam Darnold to a multi-year contract that costs too much. And the good news is it doesn't look like the Titans are going to do that. I do not want the Titans to, I wouldn't be too intrigued by Kirk Cousins. Will Levis, again, I don't want to do that, and I don't think the Titans can do that unless they just want to go ahead and fire Brian Callahan right now. Aaron Rodgers still intrigues me, although every report I see says that the Titans don't want him. Russell Wilson, meh. Justin Fields, I think, out of the question. I think he's staying in Pittsburgh. You're running out of options. For me, the most exciting option is Cam Ward at this time. I think Cam Ward, the post I read from the Miami Hurricanes fan before this, Cam Ward's the most intriguing option to me. And we'll see. We'll see if the Titans end up picking him, but that's the one that gets me the most, gives me the adrenaline rush right now. So we'll see. This post I thought was very interesting. Why is most of this sub, or this fans on the Titans Reddit page, scared of the Titans being good? Some quotes that this user has heard. Taking Ward is a risk. Let's pass on him, and when he balls out, we can say he never would have succeeded here anyway. Let's take a defensive end and win 6 games a year. Wake up! Let's win some games, the division, and a Super Bowl, and you need a QB to do that. Cam Ward is a good prospect, worthy of the number 1 selection. Let's not mess this up. Take Cam Ward. Also, I'd much rather try. If the Titans take Ward and he doesn't become good, I can live with that much more than passing on Ward and he becomes the franchise quarterback for another team. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, not just with Cam Ward, but with anybody, you never know. You could take Cam Ward. It doesn't work out. Somebody else takes Abdul Carter, and he goes on to be one of the greatest defensive ends we've ever seen. And then we have to live with that for the rest of our lives. You only get to pick one guy. I see what he is saying about the fan base, and I've been guilty of this too. You want to, everybody's just got different methods. And some fans are more negative than others, but everybody's got different methods of how to fix it. People watched the Eagles' defensive front dominate the Super Bowl. People want to have that sort of thing. Some people see the Washington Commanders and how Jaden Daniels and C.J. Stroud in Houston and Bo Nix in Denver have turned things around so quickly for those organizations, and they say, we need something like that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's always, to some degree, a shot in the dark. Cam Ward, listen, you draft him and you hope he's the next Josh Allen, you hope he's the next Cam Newton, you hope he's the next Patrick Mahomes, whatever, but it's always a shot in the dark. It's a shot in the dark with anybody of any position. We took a chance on Corey Davis. Didn't really pan out. We took a chance on Jeffrey Simmons. It did work out. Could have not worked out, but it did. It's just, you never know. And I don't think anybody's wrong for having their opinions. Some people think the way to go is to fix other needs and then wait for next year. But odds are those are people who are not as big of a believer in Cam Ward. The people who are believers in Cam Ward want to do it. I don't know where the Titans fall in that, because that's the most important option. But I do see what this user is saying about the negativity of Titans fans who always want to be negative about everything. If you pick Abdul Carter, we picked the wrong guy. If you pick Cam Ward, we picked the wrong guy. They're going to go be great somewhere else. If they go be great somewhere else, well, it's fine. They wouldn't have been good here anyway. It does get a little discouraging sometimes. This user says, thoughts on Garoppolo? What do y'all think about Garoppolo as a bridge quarterback? I would rather drive my car off a bridge, a literal bridge, than to have. Listen, I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo, you could do worse. I mean, Garoppolo's older. He's a backup who's toward the top of the backups. Played in one game for the Rams this last year and played well. Wouldn't shock me, if a team that just didn't have anybody at quarterback went with him. Wouldn't totally shock me in 2025. If the Titans were going to go that route, I'll be honest with you, I would almost be more intrigued by a guy like Joe Milton because he's younger. I would be intrigued more, I would say Hendon Hooker, but I mean, it just doesn't look like the Lions really believe in him either. They brought in Teddy Bridgewater and put him on the depth chart above him. But somebody like that, I would like somebody younger. But, Jimmy Garoppolo would probably be, he'd probably be better. I think he'd probably be better than Kirk Cousins right now. I think he'd probably be better than, probably about on par with Russell Wilson. So, I mean, it's not the worst suggestion. I don't think it's going to happen. But unless the Titans just don't draft Cam Ward and they have no options, he could come in and maybe try to, I don't know, create some competition. This user says, why isn't anyone mentioning Kayvon Thibodeau in a trade with the Giants? We need edge help so bad, and he has proven. Trade 1 for 3, 34, and Thibodeau. Get the best player available at 3, and you knock out 2 huge positional needs right at the start of the draft. Listen, I do see, there's a lot of belief that I don't know if the Giants would even be willing to give him up, but if they were, if you're the Titans, you trade back 3, you need 2 new edge rushers. They cut Harold Landry today, but even if they had kept him, they still needed 2 new edge rushers. You could still draft Abdul Carter if he's there, and now you've got Carter and Thibodeau. You're getting a 2-for-1. You're getting 2 edge rushers in 1 pick. That could be good. Or you could take Thibodeau, and if Travis Hunter's there, you take him, or you take Shador or whatever. You're getting a 2-for-1. You're getting 2 great players in 1 pick. Hey, you could do a lot worse than that. Last one, and I really enjoyed this question. A genie grants you the ability to retake last year's first rounder. Who are you drafting? You have all the knowledge of how this draft class performed on the field, and you have full knowledge of how the Titan season played out. You know Levis didn't work out. Team ended up with the worst record, etc. You can't trade down or up, and the first 6 picks of the draft are the same. Who do you got? As you see down here, J.C. Latham still leading the way, tied with Brock Bowers, followed by Bo Nix, Brian Thomas, Jared Verse. Man. I mean, J.C. Latham was fine. The Titans were desperate for offensive line. Joe Alt was already gone. J.C. Latham was viewed as the next best tackle in the draft, so it made sense for the Titans to take him. If you redid it right now, I mean, yeah, I can see why you would probably look at Brian Thomas Jr. and be like, let's take him, because he looks like a stud. Brock Bowers, I can see how you would look at him and say, let's take him. But knowing what we know now, it would be hard not to take Bo Nix to me, because knowing what we know now and how Will Levis was, if you had the ability to go back, or Michael Penix, you could take Bo Nix or Michael Penix. That would be that. I mean, because quarterback obviously is a need. That's it for Titans Reddit this week. Don't forget the Two Tone Talk Reddit page. Go over there, leave some posts. We only had 1 from that page this week. God bless you. Tighten up. Bye.